Perfect, bro.
And then, oh, yay, it works.
Yep, I had to do some stuff. Can you hear me properly?
It's a bit, but it's loading. Yeah.
It's still cutting a bit.
Hey,
Can you hear me now? Perfect.
I can hear you, but with an echo.
Okay. Um, First things first, bro. Okay, I wanted to stay away from this call, or from this topic.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite controversial because it obviously involves almost every single person that possible. But
Yeah.
I'm very interested. What do women not really like about men? Like, what is it? Like,
Sorry, I missed that. Can you repeat it again?
what is it that women don't really like about men?
What is it that women don't like about men?
Mm, especially in dating.
Well, it's in dating. It's a
Mm,
lot of things, and I think um, one of the biggest ones must be cheating, because it seems to be like the norm, and I mean very accepted, you know. So I'd choose that one out of all of them, but it's a lot of things that women struggle with men in dating.
okay, but okay. So then, in saying that, do you then think that the same things that women struggle with men isn't the same things that men struggle with women?
Um, Obviously, there are women that cheat. However, it's not as often as men do it, or like as much as. So, okay, this is my opinion though. I think that guys tend to just cheat more than women do.
Okay.
Um, and that's the actual thing that I cannot put my finger on, like why that is. But women, like before cheating, like I mean, it takes you a lot before you get to that stage where you're just like, I'm just gonna cheat, you know?
Okay.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. But then guys just seem to do it without even thinking twice. Most of them, not all of them, obviously.
Okay. Um,
Mhm.
all right. So basically, both genders do cheat. It's just that what you're saying is that from a woman's point of view, you're saying that men kind of do it easier and they do it more often.
Yes, but obviously, like there are women that cheat all the time, and each individual have their own story of why they got the like where they are. Some just do it maybe because it's fun for them or whatnot, but I think from where I'm standing, like guys would just do it much more than women would.
Okay.
I don't know,
What?
maybe it's easier or what, but it's just like exhausting to have like 20 different, or not even 20, but like a few different partners that you're trying to have a relationship with. Um, but then guys seem to just master it somehow, you know?
Mhm. Okay. Why? Why?
Some,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do you think those men that do cheat?
Everybody has their own reasons. Same with women, but um, I don't know. That's the one thing that I wanna really understand in, especially not just in like dating someone, in more like of serious relationships where this person is committed to this one other person. We can be in marriage or they can be partners that have commitments together and children and all. Like I'm like I don't see any reason why you would get out of your way to find someone else to bring into that union you guys have, when it's not been an open, discussion that, we're gonna have other people come into our relationship, but they would just like do it, which is just beyond me to think. I'm like, why would you like do something like that when like what else is out there that you need that you don't have maybe in this one woman that you think to commit to?
Okay. So then you're still like not quite sure why men cheat, right? So why do women cheat then? The women that do cheat.
For many, okay, some of the top reasons why women cheat would be financial. Sometimes like someone would just so they don't get what they are actually looking for in their partner, and for some reason they don't choose to leave that partner they're with. And it can be like emotional, it can be sexual, it can be favors, it can be everything else that the boyfriend is not providing or enough of, that they would get with the other partner. So they'll be like, okay, it's okay, I guess, to have this person as well and still keep my original boyfriend. But those are not the only reasons, but everybody with their own story has their own reasons for cheating, which, yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. So don't you then think that those exact same reasons are the same reasons that men cheat?
That's why, like, I'm actually interested to hear your perspective on that. Like, why do men cheat? Why is it a thing that you go out there and cheat?
Yeah. No, so okay, I'll answer that now, but I mean exactly the reasons that you gave me, right? I'm thinking like if you're gonna say that a woman cheats because of those reasons, wouldn't you then like automatically think, oh, okay, well that's probably why men cheat too?
Okay, so then I would add a question on top of that and be like, okay, why is it that more men would do it than women?
Okay. All right.
Why is it that easy?
Why is what?
Why is it much easier for like a man to just, go out and have multiple partners?
Okay, so I don't think, I mean, there's no definite answer, right? And I'm just gonna be speaking from my point of view, in terms of experiences with other people. So generally, people in both sides, of male and female, cheat because of opportunity, right? You don't really cheat if you don't have opportunity to cheat, right? So, for instance, I was having a conversation with a girl today, and I was saying to her like, if a guy doesn't have girls around him, right? If obviously assuming that he's straight, he won't cheat, right? Because there's no opportunity to. But if he has girls around him, he has opportunity to cheat, and therefore he could or he would possibly cheat, right? So you need to have the opportunity first to then even think about it. So it's the same with girls. I mean, you can't cheat because of finances with someone else if there is no someone else. Right? Which sounds a bit weird, but where I'm getting at basically is that the guys that generally cheat, right, are the guys that have more girls that they can cheat with. So they're actually wanted by more girls. Just like the girls that generally cheat are girls that are more wanted by a lot of guys, so then they cheat more. Or potentially. Right? then the guys that don't cheat are guys that are not wanted generally by girls, and therefore they don't even have the opportunity to cheat, even if they want to. Same with the girls that are not wanted by guys. Then they're like, well, how am I going to cheat? With who am I going to cheat? Like, I'm lucky enough even just getting one person, right?
Okay.
Hey?
And then what surprises me also is that, like, on average, for most girls, if not all of them, like, I don't actually know of a girl that doesn't get opportunity of one man or the other trying to get into some sort of relations with them on a daily basis. So the kind of attention that women get, like, logically, they should be the ones that are like with so many partners, but then they somehow are able to, withdraw and say, okay, like, I don't have to date everybody that approaches me, because, like, I'm satisfied with this person or this and this and that, for whatever reason that they won't do it. But then on average, like, so many guys would be chasing girls all the time. So opportunity, it's there, but they don't, like, women don't always go after that opportunity with any guy that, seems interested, and,
Yeah, yeah.
So I get that, but then I'm like, on the other hand, like, the women do say no, and
Yeah.
on a daily basis,
Okay.
you know.
So the reason why I wanted to start off with that foundation is because then it leads to something, or it leads to the answer to this. So again, just recapping quickly, so you have a lot of guys that get a lot of girls, and you get a lot of girls that get a lot of guys. Then you have a lot of guys that don't get any girls, and you have a lot of girls that don't get any guys, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
guys that get girls, then they tend to have more opportunity, and then they can cheat. Whereas the girls that get a lot of guys also tend to have a lot of opportunity, and then they can cheat or they don't cheat, right? But they have opportunity to, right? Now what you're saying now is, okay, well, why is there such a high number of guys that get the opportunity to do it than the amount of girls that get opportunity and do it, right? So I think where the difference comes in is then our purpose. So each other's purpose. So the fact that a girl is born to bear kids, right? They're then kind of selective of the men of who they're going to choose that's going to give them the best type of breed for the child, right? So if you look, for instance, in the animal kingdom, right? The alpha males, are more chosen by the woman, because then if you mate with an alpha male, then generally you're gonna get a better breed of a child than choosing from the bottom sector of the guys, right?
Okay.
So obviously different animals are looking for different things. So say, let's say for example like a peacock, right? The female will look for the male that is going to be more colorful, because color for them is going to be a picture of, or a sign of dominance. So therefore, they then go for the top males to then mate with, right? Because again, like I said, that in turn goes and will be better for your offspring, right? And then you can kind of go through the animal kingdom and kind of get that from there as well. Like, say for sea lions or whatever it is, the bigger alpha males get to mate with the girls, because strength or size there is more important than anything. So then the woman then said, okay, well, I want those guys because those guys are going to give me better kids, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but like things of and continuing the generation, right? So then happens is then you get then a lot of guys that are then going to be at the top that have opportunities with a lot of girls, right? And these girls actually don't even want the guys at the bottom, right? Because then you ask yourself, well then, why doesn't a girl go for someone that's not going to be successful and handsome and um, intelligent? And why is it that they always go for the guys that are successful, handsome, and intelligent? Like that seems like a simple question, but then when you look at it again, it's like, well, because it's like, wow, why would you do it? Because you want your child to have the best possible chance to keep on keeping on, right? So then all the girls then say, oh, I want this guy, I want the guy at the top, or this guy, or this guy, or this guy, but the people from the top, right? Whereas the males, because we don't have to give birth, we don't really mind. So we then just go, okay, well, I can just have all the girls because they'll give birth. They'll give birth to my offspring. And then because I have then strong genes, chances are these genes will be stronger. But then the women actually make the decision making with the selection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. So then what tends to happen is then you have guys at the top that are whatever you want to say, tall, dark, handsome, intelligent, and driven, right? Getting picked by all the girls because all the girls then want them, right? And even if you tell those guys, if you tell the girls, listen, you can't choose from those guys, they will not want to choose from the guys at the bottom anyway, right? Whereas the guys at the bottom, if you ask them to choose any girl, they will choose all the girls. If they could, they would start at the top.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like it's almost as if like the women are the selectors, and then the guys are the ones that then just kind of fight it out and we fight it out to be the best at whatever it is to be picked up the most. So then you end up with a situation where you have one guy that'll date all the girls, and you have one guy that'll date none of them. And that's primarily because all the girls want to date that guy as well. So they actually have the opportunity to do it. Right? And then it's obviously then, hey?
I'm saying that makes sense, but then is it necessary for the guy to, just because of opportunity, say, okay, I'm gonna grab this and just take everyone?
Yeah, so look, then that's the question then. It's because it's like, okay, well look, you're a guy, you're at the top of the food chain, right? Now you have all these girls running after you, right? And then the guys that are at the bottom are trying to understand what you have so that then they can then also kind of compete with you at the top. Because as soon as they get better than you, then they get the girls, right?
Yeah.
So then you get to a point where this guy then has an autonomous decision to make to say, well, I can actually just sacrifice all these girls and pick one, right? Or just have all of them, right? And that's a personal decision that a person has to make. That's when a guy gets married and says, okay, for real, I'm actually not in this game. Or gets a girlfriend and then says, you know what, for real, I'm not in this game. But it's not like there won't be girls running after him. Because again, it's like when guys cheat, they're not cheating with themselves, they cheat with other girls. And it's like the girl knows that, listen, like you have a boyfriend. But it's like, I don't want these guys at the bottom of the log. So you have a girlfriend, cool. I want you too. And it's that constant, then it's that constant fighting and all. Okay, well he says no, I don't want anyone. I just want my girlfriend. Then the girl says, okay, well let's see where your weaknesses are, so that then as soon as I exploit that, then I can get you too. Yeah, and it seems narcissistic in a way of like, well, you getting all the girls, and why don't you just leave some for us? You know, the guys at the bottom will say that, and it's like, well, it's not like I don't want to leave some for you. It actually will help me, because then as soon as you take these girls that want me, then I don't have these temptations. But then the girls say, I don't want you at the bottom.
Yeah, but my whole thing is that also, like, because everybody gets tempted all the time. But then like you, what?
Even if it's everyone, the people that get tempted the most is what we're talking about. So we're not talking about the people in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
But then I wanna get the responsibility back to the guy
yeah,
again that has a choice to either like take all of them or not, and say like, where's your self-control?
fair enough.
I
Fair
mean,
enough.
like I can see, hey,
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. Can you hear me?
hello,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So you were saying, where's the self control?
yeah. Like just because something is there doesn't mean that I have to have it.
Fair
You
enough.
know?
Fair enough. So again, so the nice thing about this is that it's not just a system of like dating, right? It's a system of life in general, right? Because you can take the same system and then translate it into a system of rich and poor, or a financial system where you have some guys will have a lot of money, right? Some guys will have no money. Some girls will have a lot of money. Some girls will have no money, right? And then basically, then the guys that have more money get more opportunity to be with guys with people that have more money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in turn, he has more money and she has more money, right? And the people at the bottom then say, okay, well, I have no opportunity to be with people that have a lot of money. I have an opportunity to be with people that have as much money as I do or less, right? And then they stay at the bottom. Then the rich get rich and the poor get poorer. Then what you're asking then is, why doesn't the people at the top risk the temptation, right, of getting more money by just not, or by just picking one person and then sharing out their money elsewhere?
Mm. But then I feel like even with the examples you're making now, like there's a difference with somebody chasing like a lot of money. Like I have no problem with someone that's trying to like, create their wealth and advance themselves. But then something like money and something like a woman, like it's two different things.
For sure. We're not,
Like,
I'm
okay?
talking about the systems rather, not the actual like not the examples are more system based and not like, because you can translate it into anything. But okay,
Yeah. But then, yeah, that messed with me because I was like, I would totally have two different views on that. But like, if you can develop yourself and keep on going and acquiring more, then great, do that. But in terms of like relationships and being faithful to your partner, I have a very different view on that.
true. That's that. I mean, look again. What I'm trying to get at again. It's not that I'm comparing women and money or whatever it is. I'm trying to compare the systems to say to you that again, it's like if you're the guy that's getting a lot of chicks, right? Why would you pick one if you can have all of them? So if you're the guy that's getting a lot of money, why would you stop wanting to get money if you can have all of it?
Mm-hmm.
And you can translate it into anything. It's like if you're always getting attention, why would you stop getting attention if you can have all of it? If you're getting all the nice clothes in the world, why would you stop getting all the nice clothes in the world if you can just get it? So then that's again, that's the question of temptation, right? And as much as because it's the same thing with the girls. It's like, why doesn't the girls then just pick the guys at the bottom? Why do they always have to pick the guys at the top? Why do they always have to run for the guys at the top? Why do women always choose those guys? Because again, like I'm saying, it's not like men are cheating alone. We cheating with other girls, for instance.
Yeah. But then are you like, as you are cheating with those women, are they aware that it's like, so are you open when you approach however many choices you have, as the one that is chosen, like with all your women, are you open with them and telling them, actually, it's not just you, it's like 50 other girls, and then give them the choice to stay instead of, because like I don't believe that all the women know of each other. Yes, you like the guy that's on the at the top of the food chain is cheating with women, but I'm not convinced that all of those women know of each other, you
Okay.
know?
Okay. So and
So
yeah, go on, go on.
so that's why I'm like, okay, like I have no problem with a guy that openly, like, says, this is me, this is my way of life, this is how I live. But then be open about it and say, okay, this is what you're getting yourself into. And then that woman makes the decision and say, okay, I want to go ahead with this or not. But if it's just like, which in most cases, it's that none of those women know of each other, including the one that the guy is actually committed to. Like, she doesn't really know, like she may have her suspicions, but she doesn't really know of all the other women.
Okay. So that's
Which,
okay. So then, from my point of view as a guy as well, I'm asking now: the women that do cheat as well, do they let the guys know?
sometimes some of them do,
And I
some
think
of
so.
them do, like,
I think the question would be why. I think the question would be why don't then people let each other know what what the deal is, or the people that don't, because they, again, like you say, there's some guys that tell the girls, and there's some girls that tell the guys, and then you get some guys that don't tell the girls, just like you get some girls that don't tell the guys.
but then you
So
find that, hmm, okay, yeah, everybody has their reason. But because I was gonna say that sometimes some guys know that my girl is with that other, person for this reason. So whatever it is that that person has that they want, like, and the boyfriend or whoever is in on it, like, okay, we want this, and I'm okay to share you with this person. In those cases, I think people know, but then yes, there's that where even guys don't really know that my girlfriend is with that person until you bust them or um whatever. But yeah,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
So I think again, like the reason, like why I say like topics like this are very difficult to have is because I think in a lot of instances, just because like men don't speak out, for example, doesn't mean that they don't have a voice, or doesn't mean that they don't have anything to say back to what anything is being said, right? So you have a lot of these questions that you'll hear, oh, why men trash? Why is this? Why is that? And it's like it doesn't mean that men don't necessarily have anything to speak towards that, right? It's just that again, like men sometimes just don't like to speak about stuff like this. And just because a lot of women, for instance, like to speak about it, right? And then they're speaking to men that don't want to respond, doesn't mean that necessarily that the women are right about it, right? Because like again, what you're saying now, it's like, look, why do a lot of men cheat? Men can equally ask the exact same question. Why do a lot of women cheat? So just because you don't hear it often enough doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And it goes back to that whole gender-based violence question we had. It's like just because men don't talk about them being violated and being violent against doesn't mean it doesn't happen. You know what I
But
mean?
it's only like normal for us to pay attention where clearly we see a problem. So like where it's visible on a daily basis that really we have a problem in this case, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like we're not aware of women cheating or but then because in such a big scale, it's guys do it so often, then that's why there's so much attention around that. Like why is this a problem? Why can't you control yourself? Why,
Yeah, but look.
is this a thing?
So again, I mean, this whole often thing, like I explained to you now in the sense of like, well, more opportunity, you're more likely to do stuff on either side of the spectrum, right? It's just that again, the price that women have to pay for bearing kids, they need to pick the best possible partner to then have better offspring, right? So generally, guys then have much more choices to choose from, right? But then it's like, well, when the birth control was invented, now women can sleep around with anyone and not have the opportunity or not have the thought with all these medical interventions actually that are around. They now women don't have to always think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be pregnant, I'm gonna be pregnant. You can do whatever you want now. So now you're finding that society are going by, there's equal chances for everyone to kind of do what they want. And that's why you find that there's a rise of women that are doing what they want, just like there was a rise of guys, just like there's a lot of guys that do what they want, right?
I don't know about equal chance of everybody doing what they want, but yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you don't know about equal chance about people doing what they want? How's not equal?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, finish your sentence. I stopped you while you were talking about that.
Yeah. So I think again, it's like it's the narrative is always driven by say, or mostly driven by say women, right? Because look, this is another thing that I've noticed as well. I've made this analogy to quite a few people, but look at it this way, right? So if you take a guy group, say take a group of 5 guys, and you take a group of 5 girls, right? And then you go to a party. We don't like the groups don't know each other. So, but the guys know each other and the girls know each other, but they don't know of each other, right? You go to a party, sitting there, and we're sitting there, right? And the guy gets up and goes to the bathroom, right? And the girls' bathrooms are closer to the guy's bathroom. One of the girls gets up and goes to the bathroom as well, right? And then on the way out, they meet up, well, they see each other, and the guy makes a comment, right, to the girl, right, that she takes distastefully, so she doesn't like it, right? And then he doesn't understand as to why she doesn't like it, right? So he's just like, you know what, whatever, man. And then she's also, say, hostile towards him, right? And then the guy goes back to his group. The girl does her stuff. She comes back to her friends, right? Okay. So as the girl, like as one of the girls, if you were in that group, what would you expect that girl to happen? Like, what would happen in that instance?
I don't know. It depends how much of a so like if I was the one approached and I didn't like the comment, or if I was just part of the group.
So let's say it doesn't matter. Let's say so the girl comes there and she really felt like this like actually this really bothered her, and she sits in the group. What happens? Like if you were like a third person just watching over, what would you predict happens as what happens already in your say friendship circles as girls or women?
It really depends on them, like if they wanted to confront the guy and do all of that, but then also you consider a lot of stuff. You're like, is it worth it right now? Like, or not. It's really up to them to do what they want to do, but we would like support whatever it is that she chooses to do.
Okay. Okay.
Just as, eh?
Okay. So is it fair to say then, is it fair to say so that like the woman would rock up and then express her feelings, right? To the group, and then the group would then support her, right? Would there be members in that group that even try to understand what the problem is?
Depending on how much liquor has been taken.
Okay, but I mean, I'm just talking in general sense. You kind of sit in the group
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, look, you know what, I went to the bathroom and then so-and-so happened, there was this guy, he's like, I see now, he's sitting over there, and he said this to me, right? And I'm really mad about it. Now, in that group, do you expect anyone to be like, oh, okay, but like, what happened? Like, where did it come from? Do you understand why he did it? Where's the context from it? Is it really just something like that? Or do you expect everyone to kind of band in and be like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible, I'm so sorry about what happened? Everyone's kind of on the same wavelength and supportive, right?
Well, honestly, like we would stand up with our friend and support her, and she didn't like this, whatever, so we would be standing with her. However, if it got to where she was like, I'm gonna express my feelings and confront this guy, there will be some sort of communication where we like, okay, explain yourself. Why did you comment to her the way you did? Blah 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 blah. So he gets a chance to say something, but then sometimes we just vent for the sake of venting, like, and be like, okay, like we get you, we understand where you're at. You feel disrespected, whatever. Let's just talk about it. And that's that. And then, of course, we would support her and be there, vent together. But then if it was like, okay, she needs to confront this guy, like obviously we would like let him say his piece. Like, why did you do that?
I think in that, what you're saying, I totally understand what you're saying, and it's there's such a strong, there's like a big difference there, just in that scenario, big difference there between just guys and girls in general, right? Because again, like you said, it's like teamwork. We support her, and we support the team, and the team needs to now do something about this whole problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you expect to happen in like a guy setting? So the guy comes back, he sits down, and he's like, man, like, you know what, like, what the hell's going on? And he's chilling there with these four boys. What would you expect to happen again as a third person watching over
that? Like, I would be like, okay, go tell her, speak to her. Like, I didn't like this. There's nothing wrong with talking to someone and letting them how they made you feel. It's totally okay. But then what I wouldn't be okay with is if that, because usually guys are very aggressive, if he then became aggressive towards the girl, because for obvious reasons, like they're more like they're stronger than they, or but like there's nothing wrong with the guy actually approaching the girl and say, hey, like that's disrespectful. And I would expect the friends to be civil as well in it and not be like all dramatic about the whole situation.
So you'd expect the guys not to be dramatic, but the girls to be dramatic.
They're not being dramatic. They're just there to support their friend. It's not being dramatic. But like even with the guys, they can be there with their dude, and it's actually more advisable because then they can know and hear what was being said and all that. Like I'd more like that they did. But then what I wouldn't tolerate is if the guy was aggressive, even if the girl was in the wrong, for the guy to have been aggressive or exercise his strength on the girl, then I would have a massive problem with that.
Okay, so I want to go back to that story quick, right? But just in that what you said now, why was it then? Why wouldn't you say that you wouldn't expect a girl to be aggressive?
Why wouldn't I expect the girl to be aggressive?
Yeah. Like, why is it that you would say that I would not tolerate the guy being aggressive? As if to say, well, the girl can be aggressive. That's fine. I could tolerate that.
But then that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying the girl is permitted to be aggressive.
No?
However, I say that because guys are usually like strong and usually they would just like react in a tough and like because they won't be talking so much, so they would be using their strength to try and send out a message.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, like try a different way than laying your hands on someone or being aggressive.
Okay. Okay. Good. So, okay, that's also like a breakup. Another point of just the difference in aggression that the way that guys and girls show aggression, right? But again, we'll get back to that. But so again, so in this group of the guys group, would you expect the guys to all get up and go there, or would you expect that individual guy to go try and solve it? Like, what would you expect
from the guy that has been violated
the
somehow?
group of guys? So the group of guys. So the guy rocks up and says something to the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then what do you expect the group to do? Do you expect the group to all get up and gang up and say, "Oh my gosh, yeah, you know what, that chick, bro, the way she was."
No.
What?
No. 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 It's imagine having like 5 guys like coming and ganging up on one woman. That is just no.
Okay, so
But then, hey?
yeah, Karen.
But then if the guy that has been like you know violated is the one to walk to the girl or the girls and say, hey, like this is the situation, it's better like than just the whole gang of guys just coming onto one woman. It's just wrong.
So is it better?
Like already.
Is it better for the group of girls to go to the guy instead of the group of guys to go to the girl?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because for obvious reasons, like guys usually are able to take care of themselves and in strength and whatnot.
Yes.
But then
So physically, they're able to take care of themselves.
Or expected to be
Okay.
able to.
Yeah. So physically, you say that which comes back to what we're saying now in the sense of guys are generally going to be more aggressive physically, which is the big difference again between girls, is that generally guys show aggression through through physicality, and women show aggression through naming and shaming and dragging your name in the gutter and all sorts of non-physical type bullying.
Mm-hmm.
So then you say
the typical way.
Yeah. So then you say that then for the girls to go there and do that to that guy, right, is more acceptable.
But then like there's no like aggression there.
How's there no aggression?
It's just that we there with our friend just to support, because already like she's like, oh my gosh, it's a guy and we are in this club or wherever they are. Like I don't have the guts to look up to this guy alone. So we will go. We'll stand with you and you say what you need to say. And that is acceptable in my books, Whereas if the other way around, like a bunch of guys came and just like, ganged up like that on a woman that is just fragile by herself. That looks terrible.
So even that
And
picture you're painting, even that picture that you're painting is cause the guys go and they gang up on this girl, just like the girls are gonna go and gang up on the guy, right? And the guys get up there, and they're not physical at all, physically, right? So they go, they just talk to her, right? That's not acceptable.
it depends. It all depends on the girl, how she feels. Like, for
But
instance, if I was the girl in question,
so then if it was a
and
girl and they go to the guy,
but they,
then it doesn't matter how the guy feels.
what?
If it was a group of girls that go to the guy,
No, it does matter. Like, his feelings matter. But then what I'm trying to say is that if I was the girl in question, it doesn't necessarily matter the way these guys are coming up to me, whether they're showing aggression or they're coming in a calm way, which I doubt it would be the case. Like, if a group of guys are coming towards me and to confront me, like, already I feel vulnerable. I feel like I need, to just step back and be like, hey, like, don't come any closer or anything like that. Just based on just our society, the sad thing with our society is that I cannot just have like a group of guys just approach me like that and not feel, fearful or whatever.
yeah,
It's just
okay,
not okay.
okay,
Yeah.
but so again, I mean, I understand what you're saying, man, and I really get it, and I really am trying to push this thing. I'm trying to get the real crux of it, so that at least we can, guys can share their viewpoints without being scared, and girls can share their viewpoints without being scared. Because I feel like, again, it's like a lot of guys get to a point where, again, let's say this guy's never been aggressive in his life, and he has a bunch of girls that go to him and they confront him. It's like, how's that any different to having a bunch of guys that are non-combative going to approach one guy? Because generally, what you're then saying is that, like, okay, well, because guys are generally then are physically aggressive, girls can then go and maul them verbally, right? But a guy that's not physically aggressive can't go maul a girl verbally, and that's just society, right?
Um, well, it all depends on the scenario and whatnot, but um, why don't the guy just take, if he feels that he's fearing this group of girls, like, why wouldn't he just take one of his friends instead? That's a bit less, you know, uh, I don't know, like, scary for me, like the one that's being confronted. I'm like, okay, two guys, okay, that's better than 12 guys or five guys coming to
Why,
confront me.
why doesn't the girl just take one of her friends and go confront the guy?
Okay, like, for instance, if I'm with my friends and it's five of us, and my friend is clearly disturbed, and it's just in our nature, we all gonna stand and go with her. It's not necessarily like she'll be like, okay, you just come with me. It's fine. Like, all of us, like, have, especially in a setting that you have set. Like, we are at a club and we got each other's backs. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, 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 like, go sort it out with so and so. Like, we all going. It's just
Yeah, so then
it's
why
just
can't?
the way it happened.
So the guys don't have,
No, no, because guys have strength as their advantage. So
physically,
you
yeah,
just can't, based
but
off
it's not,
the
it's not a
biology of your
physical fight.
body.
It's not a physical fight though.
Hmm?
It's not a physical fight. So guys
It's
can,
not.
yes, it's a verbal fight, and girls tend to have more strength in that regard.
Yeah, it's not. But the point remains that or the fact remains that you have the physical on your side, strength on your side, and therefore just don't do that. Because
Okay,
no.
so this somehow actually it does, but it goes back to dating, where then it's like, look, as the guy, you're not expected really to um as a guy, you're not expected to kind of speak up about how you were, what do you call this, cheated on by another girl, right? You're supposed to just take it, right? So, so those guys
You're
are
not
never going
expected to what?
to speak up on it because it's you kind of weak
Okay.
or some sort, right? So that then means that doesn't mean that there's no girls that are cheating. You have a lot of girls that cheat, just like you have a lot of guys that cheat. But it's always a narrative of, oh no, but guys cheat a lot. And it's like, really?
What stops you from chatting with your mates and saying, okay, she cheated on me, this is how I feel? Like, same things we would do. What stops you from doing that?
It's it's not that something stops men from doing it. It's just that they also just don't do it. Like we're just not as expressive.
But why is what I'm trying to get at.
There could be there's a lot of genetic factors. It's just that's one of the differences between guys and girls. Girls just like to verbalize a lot of things. Guys just like to do a lot of things. That's why again, guys are more aggressive and girls like to kind of bash you verbally. It's just one of the big
Mm.
differences.
So then it's just unfortunate then, and should it be put on women then? that is not their strength.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not saying that we're putting it. I'm not saying that we're putting it on women. But what I'm saying is that like it's always like a shout out to okay, no, men did this, men did that, men did this, and it's like and the women don't do anything. Like, is that what we're saying then? It's like okay, well, men always cheat, women never, or men always cheat, women hardly ever. It's like how do you know? You know, and it's like it's very much like a group thing. It's a group dynamic, and it's not individualized, and that's where the problems come in. Is that then just because
Mm-hmm.
one person that it happened to you, it's happened to the whole group, and it's like, well, people in your group are actually doing it elsewhere to another person in that group. You know, so and then it goes back again to what we're talking about in the sense of dating. It's like men are not dating themselves, bro. Like if there weren't women that wanted a guy, then he wouldn't be dating them, or he wouldn't be cheating on them, for instance. So it's not
But
like
then that's where,
yeah,
but then with with that going back to that, that's where I like I'm not with you like 100%. Where I'm like, okay, everybody has the ability to have self control.
true. So why don't the girls that also want the guy don't use self control and not want him?
Some girls don't know. Like they might think that okay, the guy may be up on the food chain, whatnot, but the girl might be convinced that she's the only one, and she doesn't know that there are 20 other girls. But um,
Okay, let's say
also again,
the girls that do
eh?
know. So the girls that do know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why don't
Why
they
don't
exercise self control?
they are after what they're after? So
So
like
exactly.
if and
So how do the rules change then? It's like if a guy
but then
so if a guy's married, for example, right, and tells a girl that he's married, right, and says to her, I want to have an affair, right? Who's responsible? Like, aren't they equally responsible to this? Why is it that the guy is the one that's at fault? I mean, the girl
but
is
that's
also
not how. Usually, though, in cases like that, that's not how a guy would put it. Like when he approaches this female, he'll be like, okay, some sort of lie would be in the, just to cool her down and get her to ease into this, you know, mess. So it would be like, yeah, but like, like my wife, like we leaving each other, or like we going through things, and I'm, like I'm planning to divorce her. Like there's some sort of like a lie that this poor girl would be
What?
like, oh, like, yeah, he's leaving her anyway. And because they're so desperate to have them, they actually believe all that bullshit.
Okay, so
Like, okay, eh?
don't girls do that? Girls that are married, don't they lie to guys?
Girls that are married,
Yeah, don't they lie to guys? Or girls that are in relationships, don't they lie to other guys?
they do, but the point is that the majority would be guys.
Yeah, but
Guys
again,
do it more than women. I'm convinced of this.
okay, fine. Let's say you're convinced because we don't have the stats now. Let's say you're convinced of it, right? The fact that it happens on both sides is really the point. So when you're saying men, because you're because look, if you're saying that men cheat, right, and men cheat and they're terrible. If one woman cheats, then a guy can say women cheat and they're terrible. Why is it that all of a sudden, when a woman cheats, you need to name them individually, but when one man cheats, you can put them all in the same bracket?
We're not naming them. We're just saying that the number is
Yeah.
is less than guys. And if we to be honest with each other, and for instance, this is a perfect time actually, like for you knowing the guys that you know, and like just men in general, like it's just very, very easy for a guy to just be like, yeah, what's wrong with this situation? Because like not denying the fact that women will cheat for whatever reason they're cheating for, and usually it's what they can get from men or whatever.
And
But
why do guys?
then but then for guys, it's like, oh my gosh, like she just walked past, and I can't stop. I have to have her, like, And then you're like, how many women are passing by here that you see all the time? And like, oh my gosh, I like those boobs. Oh, I like that ass. Oh, I like this. It's just like it's so, like all the time. And then I'm like, yeah, like self control you know
Let's say that was the case, right? Let's say men cheat because they can, and women cheat because um, they're looking for something better for life, for both for life, right? Let's say that's the case. Is that like is that a good enough reason for then a woman to cheat instead of a man, or is it just both wrong?
they're both wrong, but then that's not the point that I'm bringing up now. The point is that why is it that you guys find it like very easy just to go on and cheat, whereas like in most cases, women that would be cheating is because, I don't know, like they're struggling somewhere, and so someone else is like trying to promise them a better life or like something. There is something somewhere. But then you guys purely something as unimportant as, oh my goodness, I want to sleep with this person. I want to sleep with that person. It can be that simple. It can be I'm attracted to what I see, and therefore I'll risk everything for this person I don't even know. Like, and then you go sleep with them, then what? And then the next one, but then
It's weird how
risking everything else.
it's weird how
Hmm.
when like it's weird how when a woman cheats on a man, it's somewhat noble. And when a guy cheats on a girl, it's like, man, that's the most terrible thing you can do in the world.
It's not noble. There's nothing noble about cheating. It's not
And that's
noble just because a
really,
woman does it.
yeah.
No,
So,
it's not.
so then the shit doesn't matter what the excuse is. Then shouldn't matter.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I'm
Okay.
not justifying the fact that they cheat because of certain reasons. It's not justifiable. It's wrong, and that's it. But then my
And
point is that
men and women
eh,
cheat.
Men and women cheat. I think we agree on that.
Men might cheat more
But
often, but they might cheat more
men,
often because they have more opportunity to. And it's mostly the top men that cheat more often, because not all the guys are cheating. Because the bottom guys can't cheat because
but
they
then
don't.
I'd also argue the fact that like we have like I just think of like a typical day in a girl's life and I'm like, okay, you have opportunity all the time to cheat. Like it's just there. Like you have to all you have to do is just walk to Pick and Pay, literally, not even, and there's opportunity everywhere. Like with some everything, and then I'm like, but you don't necessarily take the opportunity. So there's some self-control that men lack, and because there's that opportunity, it must mean, and it is because guys are the ones that are hunting all the time.
So again,
They are.
yeah, no, I'm not trying to make an excuse for that. I'm not trying to come up with things. I'm just saying that that could be one of the, because it happens. So there's possibly reasons for it happening. And what I'm saying is again is that women, right? The fact that you have to look for someone that's going to be of best interest for you for your offspring, you'll pick the more
Yeah.
the more guys, the higher guys on the hierarchy, right? So then all the women then generally go for the higher guys, right?
Yeah.
Which is why then you can't just walk into a shop as a woman and take any guy because he might not be actually attractive to you, but he might be attracted to you, right?
Okay.
So then you find that even though a girl has all the opportunity to cheat just like a guy can, right? Girls don't want those guys. They don't want all the guys. They want some of the guys. Whereas some of the guys can have all of the girls.
Or they have someone at home and they choose that someone at home
Which is
then
which is what
say
happens
yes to everybody else.
for sure. Which is what happens. Which is what guys that want to make that sacrifice do. So guys that say, "Look, I'm gonna pick one person and leave the rest." That's what they do, right? That's how guys get married. That's how guys become faithful. But it's a choice that they have to partake in. And even when they partake in it, it's not to say that then these girls are going to disappear and say, "Oh, okay, well now he's married. Let's go for someone else." It's like no, the girls will still be like, "But I still want some of the guys at the top." Then it's like even if the guy there makes the conscious decision to sacrifice all of the girls, the opportunities are always still there. Because the girls are not going to be like, "Okay, I'm gonna settle for this guy." They'll still be like, "Well, I want someone that's going to be from the top of the food chain still." And then you have a lot of the guys that are going to be on the top of the food chain. They're going to say, "You know what? I actually don't want to be with one person. It's my personal choice. I don't want to have a girlfriend. I don't want to be married." Right? So then what are they left with? They're left with all of the girls.
Okay.
You
So
understand? So
it
so so that's what I'm saying then is that like sorry to cut you off, but that's what I'm saying is that then girls then don't want the guys that are not going to be um, um, get the guys that are going to be at the lower end. They want the guys that are going to be at the higher end. So when they walk into any shop, they'll see guys everywhere that want them because guys just want the girls and all the girls at the top too. But then those girls are going to say, "Nah, I don't want you. I want you. I don't want you. I don't want you. I want the top of the food chain." Then the guys at the top of the food chain will then become limited the more they're picked and latched on. So the more then they get that they get a wife or they get married, right? Or when they get into committed relationships, then the fewer they are, then the girls still want to pick from the top. They'll wait. Like the guys at the bottom are the last on the list, right? They'll still pick from the top. They're more likely to pick from the guys that are still that are already picked than they are to pick from the guys at the bottom. That's why you find that there'll be guys that'll be free that'll be in your inboxes and still wanting to be with you, but you'll still say, oh my gosh, I still want this guy, even though he is married or even though he has, you know, a girlfriend. You're more likely to still pick from those guys.
Yeah, I guess depending on what you're looking for. Yeah.
For sure. But again, it's like because then you can multiply it in a lot of things. It can be maybe it could be wealth, maybe it could be strength, maybe it could be handsomeness. Exactly those things of intelligence. Exactly those things I was talking about in the sense of you can have we chill as guys and we kind of fight it out and we see who's at the top, who's at the bottom, right? And then the guys chill at the bottom. Oh, I mean, the guys at the top stay at the top. And then the girls say, well, we want those guys, right? And then you have, obviously, the guys in the middle, which we don't want to talk about because, yeah, they kind of, that's where the girls kind of go to when then the guys at the top are kind of like, okay, now it's closed there, everyone's sorted. Then they become the guys at the top, right?
Yeah.
But the guys that always land up at the bottom are not wanted by the girls that land up at the bottom. And those are usually the nice guys. Those are usually,
It's true.
those are usually the nice guys. Yeah, and then those are the ones that are inboxes that are trying to actually be genuine and nice to you, and they're trying to take you out on a date, but then you go for the guys that are just like just a bit too crazy, and then you want them, and then the guys are like, what the hell? I don't like. Why do you guys want me so much? And then that's what happened. And then you turn around and say, oh my goodness, why do guys cheat all the time? And it's like, who are they cheating with, bro? They cheating alone? They're cheating with other girls. So why do other girls allow themselves to cheat with guys like that? Then boom, you want to blame guys again and say, oh no, it's because guys don't mention when they are in relationships. Like if a guy then mentions that they're going to be in a relationship, it will immediately cut that attraction off.
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes.
But then that's what I'm fighting for, or that's what I'm like trying to advocate for. Stay where you at, then that person has the choice to stay with you in that in where you at, or they leave. Like, so I'm like, give these women the choice to say, yes, I want to go on and do this with you, or no, which most guys wouldn't. They just be like, yeah, like, no, like, don't you. In fact, getting cancel or like, you know, chatting with the guys, you'll be like, oh, no, don't tell them, like, you know, that it's fine with them. Like, you wouldn't do that. What are you trying to do? But then my thing is that, like, tell someone, like all the women, okay, listen, like, I have other people. You can choose to stay or you can choose to leave, and therefore they get the choice. And if they choose to stay, great for them. If they choose to leave, great for them also.
Okay. So instead of telling the guys to do that, right? Why don't women then tell the women to do that cheat on the guys, to tell the guys to do that? Why is it always the focus of the guy needs to then talk to the girl? So the guy that has a relationship to talk to the girl and let them know. Do you guys also speak to the girls that are cheating on the guys to tell them, oh, let the guy know?
Yeah, I would. Like, let him know. Hey? Yeah, let him know. Like, he's not the only one, and if you want to stay, you can stay. Yeah. But then it can be a bit complicated as well. Like, for instance, if the girl is there for material things, not necessarily for the guy. I don't.
Because what I'm hearing now is that when a woman cheats, it's a bit more noble than a guy. It's not for anything else besides its material things. And when a guy cheats, it's because he's just a guy.
Sorry, what?
I'm saying that what you're saying is that when a girl cheats, it has to be, I mean, it's financial, or maybe it's just something that's not happening. Always a noble thing. Whereas when a guy, she's just like, oh, it can't be financial, man. It can't be because he's not getting anything from this chick. It just has to be the fact that he's just, he's just a dog.
Yeah, like okay, most guys would be after whatever woman they're after because of their physical. And I'm not saying this is not, it's just the thing they're after, but like guys are just attracted to what they see. And if they see an attractive woman that's what they're after, they're gonna go after that they're after. But what I'm saying is that like women like things. They like so it can be in cases that they actually like the guy, but then it could be also that they like the toys around the guy. That's why the guys go and get the toys to attract them. Good. That is usually, yeah, like what would happen. But then what I'm also saying is that if the girl is just there for the toys and the guy is fine with them not actually liking them, there can be an arrangement they have. And like the guy might be like, I get what I want anyways, and that's that, But clear communication is what I'm saying. Like instead of just like like being secretive about things and what.
Okay, so I agree with the fact that being more truthful on both sides makes the difference, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna change what's already happening, but at least it clarifies what happens. Because like I said again, you can still be truthful to someone and they'll still be like, cool, I want to do this. It still imbalances a lot of things, right? But it can still put a lot of balance as well, right? But coming back to your point about guys look at girls and then they're attracted by what they see. Well, I mean, girls also see material things. So we're all attracted by what we see. And then after that, then we say, oh, I've seen it. I have eyes. I know that you look beautiful. You then say, oh, I've seen the car, or I've seen him too, and he looks beautiful. Then you interact. Then when you interact, then it can go past that physical state, right? After that, then you can start piecing out all the other puzzles. Okay, where is he status-wise? How is he intellectually? How is he like this? And then we kind of then, guys and girls then obviously go for different what do you call this? Different attributes with each other. They're similar, but it's a bit different. But we still have to both see each other and want to have the conversation to begin with. And then from there, whatever differences that we want to know, then we can kind of know. Then the guy says, okay, well, I only care about, after the way that you look, I care about if you are driven, or if you are a pet lover, or if you can cook, or if you can be physical, you can go out with me and do outdoor stuff. And the girl might say, oh, well, I want to know if you're going to be safe with me, or whatever it is, right? Then those little things can come into play, and then you can have a relationship, or try to start to have one. But to say that the guy just looks at it and says, "Ooh, nice," and the girl says, "Oh no, I can't see who the person is. What do they have?" It's like it does.
Okay.
So in either ends, it's like there has to be some sort of physical attraction to something, and then formulate into whatever the date or the dating will be, and that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I said it's controversial because there's a lot of talking points and there's a lot of mixed matching, and I'm sure a lot of people also want to kind of drag both of our opinions to the ground. But again, the nice thing about it is hopefully they'll drag the topic in the conversation instead of me and you. But yeah, there's also there's one thing also that I've realized that guys do, right? And that's like, guys are really, really truthful about who they are when they are around other guys, right? And as soon as there's a girl around, then we compete, which is the same thing. Yeah, which is the same thing, or I suspect is the same thing that women do. When they're around other women, it's completely kind of transparent, or as transparent as they would be. And then when there's a guy around, then it's okay. Let's go back to competition, right? And that happens a lot, and that's why you find that guys will talk together and become truthful, and they'll talk all their stuff, and then a girl will walk in, and it's like, oh, okay, here we go, let's go and compete again, let's try to impress her, let's kind of like again what animals do, right? So,
Oh gosh.
so yeah, for sure, you know, and that's why you find that the best way to see what really a guy feels, instead of going to look at a conversation with him with another chick, you look at a conversation with his best friend or with another friend, a guy friend. Then you'll see what the guys really talk about. Or maybe you don't want to see. And it's the same with the girls. It's like maybe the guys don't want to see. So even with the truth, a certain level of truth that you both want from each other.
Mm.
So yeah, that's just something to know. But yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Good.
nice. Cool stuff,
That
man.
was a good chat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
I'll see you. Cheers.
Okay. See you. Bye.